After 13 months of apartment hunting in the Bay Area, I finally found my dream studio in SF. But can I really afford this? For the past 10 years, I've always shared rent with a roommate. This is the first time I've had a place all to myself where I have to pay every single part of rent. This is what I spend living in SF. My cash burn per day is $80 just to wake up with a roof over my head, $20 to make sure my dog has the right care when I'm out exploring the city, another $30 just to stay fed. So we're looking at $130 a day to just breathe air in this city for 24 hours at a time. With this level of cash burn, I'm rethinking my whole career. And so here's how I'm going to grow my income this year by 50% while living my dream life here in the city. Or at least my attempt to. Here is the game plan. 1, I am going to revamp my private practice, Craving Food Freedom. I was really motivated in 2020 and 2021, and that's when I gained a lot of momentum. But at one point, I really burned out from my private practice. So instead of focusing just on binge eating and body image, I decided to expand my offerings. So for example, using continuous glucose monitors to track blood sugar trends with patients, to also use gut testing to see if there's any food sensitivities and inflammation happening. I spent hours poring over fonts and what could make it look a little bit more polished and professional and modern. Along with that, I thought, why don't I create flyers? And I went to a few grocery stores in SF. I went to a few community bulletin boards. And then I had this bright idea of why don't I call a few doctor's offices in SF just to introduce myself, to tell them that I am taking new patients. Really had to take a deep breath. I'll give you a little update now that it's Feb. The 6 doctor's offices that I called have not responded back to my emails and have not called back. So although on the phone, 1 or 2 of them were interested in my presentations and wanted to get to know me more, that kind of fell flat. The flyers that I've posted, I have been refreshing my Google Analytics for my website. I didn't get as many hits as I thought I would, so I don't necessarily know if the flyers are reaching the right target audience or if it's reaching any audience at all per se. Regardless of all of these metrics, last week I did gain a new private client. Whatever was happening, there was some energy in the air that generated a new client for me, and I feel really excited about that. Now, part 2 of my effort is to attend medical conferences. For some reason, I didn't think that it was that important to attend conferences in the nutrition or medical space. I was just so focused on my own company and my own job. But this year, I really want to sharpen my skills as a dietitian. I want to see what's at the forefront of endocrinology and GLP-1s like Ozempic. I want to see what's on the forefront of diabetes and continuous glucose monitors, gut space, and what new technologies and practices are being done there. On the horizon, I have my eyes on 3 conferences that I want to attend this year. The first one is Digestive Disease Week, mostly geared towards doctors. I want to see what their best practices are for bloating and IBS, how they talk about gluten and dairy insensitivities. The second conference I'll be going to this year will be held in San Francisco, and it'll be the Endocrinology Conference. And endocrinology, as you probably know, is the science of hormones. Think about Ozempic as well as diabetes. I have a lot of questions around these two. Long term, what providers and endocrinologists are seeing with Ozempic and Mounjaro. They're currently accepting abstracts. I was on my flight to Thailand and I was thinking, okay, I'm attending these conferences. What more can I do to network this year? And I thought, you know what? Although I have a lot to learn from other people, I've also gained a lot of knowledge from the hundreds and thousands of patients I've had in the Silicon Valley over the past 6 years. And a lot of my interest, a lot of my data has to do with CGMs. And I spent about 2 hours in a flow zone writing the abstract. That is my strategy for this year. I will document every conference I attend because I'm super excited about it. There is this fear that I will be doing all of these things this year that amount to nothing, but you know what? My dad always said, even if things don't work out, at least you learned something. I am not actually scared about the networking part at these conferences. As a kid, I did a lot of service jobs. I worked at cafes, I worked at ice cream shops. I had to really train myself to talk to strangers all the time. In my current job as a dietitian, I'm interfacing with patients one-on-one every single day, multiple times of the day. And also, more importantly, I've been to 7 countries over the past 7 years, and most of them I did solo trips. So I am very familiar and very comfortable with being thrown into a new hostel or a new country and chatting with fellow travelers or solo travelers. As a kid, I was so painfully shy. My mom literally bought me a book at 12 years old called How to Make Friends. It's been a long journey to get to where I am today. The only thing I am kind of concerned about is I am a dietitian. Most of these medical conferences are predominantly made up of doctors. So doctors, I think, are known to look down on dietitians and not think that we're important or impactful in patient care. Hopefully that's not the case. I'm sure that's just an assumption, but I will say that's definitely a thing. I'm sure it won't be a big deal because I will try to dress nice, look polished, do my hair. I know my hair is really frizzy. I'm gonna try and fix that. Someone please tell me, do I need a Japanese like perm or straightening thing? I don't know. But if you have any tips on how to look polished for a conference, especially a professional conference, please leave it down in the comments. But that's my ultimate plan for this year, to be able to afford living in this city. Let's see if this funnels into my private practice. Let's see if it helps me grow professionally.